increase the funding for the opportunities for students who are going there and to provide opportunities for teacher training in those fields. So we're very, very interested in moving that forward and certainly look forward to working with your organization as we attempt to do that in the coming year. Supporting education in these fields and maintaining a strong aerospace workforce is key, as I said, in my mind, to the future of our economy and also to our global competitiveness, as well as cooperation. One of the things that has become most important to me, a lot of times people will say to me, well, what's it like being up there in Washington? You know, are you able to use what you describe as your common sense desires and pull together in a bipartisan way to get things done? And I have to tell you candidly that it's not as easy as it sounds like it would be. And someone asked me, what is the most bipartisan thing that you have found in Washington, D.C.? And essentially it's the elevator. We all use the same elevator, so we're forced to be in a bipartisan position there. But the other true answer is that when it comes to space exploration, there are no party lines. This is an area of endeavor that is supported by people from across the aisle like no other. It is the one thing where I think truly when the administration makes a decision how we're going to go forward, that the president will be able to stand there and make his announcement flanked on either side by members of both parties who thoroughly support and recognize the significance of our aerospace and manned space exploration and what this means for America as the inspiration for generations to come, as I said, to enter into science. I was with a group recently where they told me that they had done a survey of the current engineers in this country and that 40% of them were inspired by Kennedy's we're going to go to the moon first, and that speech and our ability to accomplish that. We need to make sure that whatever the outcome of the administration's thoughtful and careful and considerate consideration of what we do going forward, that we, in my opinion, maintain our leadership, I would even say our supremacy in space exploration, along with our international partners. The one thing that we know that was clear from the Augustine Commission's report in sending the administration a message was, yes, there's several alternatives for different programs that we can use, but what was made clear was the lack of funding that has been in place for the last 8 years or so, combined with a mixed message about what the mission was, has set us back in manned space exploration. And so whatever the clear message is that this president wants to move forward with the next phase of manned space exploration, whether it's Constellation or whether it's something else, and we do know that it will include some commercial aspects, we want to ensure that there is sufficient funding to make it happen. And that's the one consensus that everyone understands, whether on the Augustine Commission or sitting in Congress or in a committee, that the idea of having sufficient funding to match the vision is extremely important. And so we are looking forward to the president hopefully coming out with his recommendation early this year with his budget recommendation for next year, and this will be for us the signal that yes, we do understand how important this space exploration is, and that the funding for it, in order for it to be robust and competitive and meaningful, according to the Augustine Commission, would be that we have increased funding in order to make that happen. So we're very excited and hopeful that will happen. As I said before, there's a lot of strong bipartisan support for these issues in aerospace and space exploration. And I am happy to say that I serve as co-chair of the House Action Team Committee with Ken Calvert of California. And he and I have been working together in a bipartisan way outside the elevator to draw together our colleagues and to advocate for the issues that are related to space exploration and aerospace. This fall, he and I led an 81 bipartisan members in sending a strong message to the President, emphasizing these points and urging him to make NASA a national priority. We ask that he institute a cohesive and comprehensive plan with clear direction for NASA and to follow through with the adequate funding to maintain America's global leadership in space exploration and to ensure NASA's continued contributions to our economy and to our national security. And it is my hope that this administration will do that, as I said, unlike what was done by the previous administration, where a vision was outlined but funding was never really provided to make it a reality. So my goal is to continue my efforts among my colleagues. Whenever they see me coming on the floor of the House, they're like, if it's for space, I'm for it. You know, they don't even wait for me to get the words out of my mouth, whether I'm asking them to sign a letter addressed to the President or sign something to go to Charlie Bolden, the newly appointed NASA administrator. They know that it's probably going to be about space, and so they usually say, I'm for it. And that's a good feeling. So we're excited about that. Again, I'm honored to be here today to share with you as you all learn and share and go through the panels that you have and your paper presentations and the floor demonstrations that you have. I feel slightly unqualified to speak to you because, as I said, I don't have a scientific background, but I do have an excitement and an enthusiasm, and I believe a very thorough understanding that what you do defines this century, and how we support it as a government, and how we recognize and highlight it as a government, how we fund it as a government, is very important to this country's future. Important to get the education and the inspiration of our young people, important to America's economy, important to our national security, important to our competitiveness around the globe, and therefore maybe the most important thing that we do as members of Congress. I know that, again, I've only been there 1 year, but I've heard the leadership on several occasions say, if you want to know what 4 words define what's important to this Congress and this Congress as it moves forward into the next decade, the next century, the 4 words would be science, 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 and science. And I'm quoting the leadership when I say that. So I stand here to tell you that I'm honored to serve in Congress. It's a huge honor to be part of the decision-making that goes on in this country, despite the daunting challenges that we have before us. But I'm encouraged when I'm able to meet with folks like you who have the brains and the inspiration and the desire to move us forward into this century and to continue the things that have made America a great country. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here and share with you today.
Congresswoman, for your dedication, for your common sense approach, and for your passion for this business. It's a very important business for our country and for the citizens of the world. I also believe we all want to thank you for your service to our country and to your community. So please join me in one more round of applause for Congresswoman.